get started with our big political story tonight. It's coming from Varanasi, which is, of course, about 3 to 4 hours of a drive from where we are tonight. But the headlines are emerging from that city, a full-blown political confrontation between the BJP and the Election Commission. The BJP says the returning officer in Varanasi has been biased in denying permission to Mr. Modi to hold his 3 public events within the city limits. The returning officer proposed an alternative venue. The BJP said this Maidan could hold 2,000 people against the 1 lakh capacity of the Maidan, where Mr. Modi has been denied permission to hold his rallies. The latest development to this big political story is that Arun Jaitley has written a 4th letter to the Election Commission saying, "Thanks but no thanks. We don't want your permission anymore." Tomorrow, Arun Jaitley will be sitting on Dharna, leading a set of protests against the Election Commission. He's joining us now on this big developing story from Varanasi. Mr. Jaitley, it is unprecedented, I would imagine, that in the middle of an election, a major political party is actually on Dharna against the Election Commission. Do you see this as a healthy development? Was there no other alternative for the BJP but to sit on Dharna against the Election Commission, a constitutional body?
You see, I'm extremely saddened by the turn of events. Candidates and parties have been known to breach the law. Never the returning officer or the Election Commission. In this case, it's squarely the returning officer. We've been applying for permission after permission. For the last 72 hours, we've been running from pillar to post. The event now is about 18-19 hours away. I don't have a shred of paper in my hand. There is a pujan to be performed in the Ganga. There's a meeting in this very hotel in which I am sitting just now of 150 people. And then there is a big rally in one of the grounds in the city. He's told us orally that he's declining all permissions. He's privately briefing the media that he can have alternative places which are inadequate. We still haven't got a piece of paper. Yesterday he got my representatives to wait at his residence till 1:30 at night. In the morning he cited an IB report. I cross-checked with the Intelligence Bureau. They said there is no such report. Only precautionary messages are given. How can free and fair elections be held with such a returning officer? If a candidate who's a prime ministerial candidate can't enter the city limits and hold a rally or even have a conversation in a hotel banquet hall with 150 people, are we moving towards being a banana republic? Is this how free and fair elections are to be conducted? I've been repeatedly writing letters to the Chief Election Commissioner since morning. I haven't got a reply from him. I've spoken to him on phone. He said he would look into the matter. Now, you have all the constitutional power when it comes to dealing with the political parties and individuals, and you suddenly collapse in terms of your authority when it comes to dealing with a delinquent returning officer. Any conscientious authority would have removed this man forthwith by now. The Election Commission, I regret to say, is a mute spectator.
But Mr. Jaitley, those are very, very strong words that you're using there. You say the Election Commission's authority has collapsed when it comes to a delinquent polling officer. Those are the strongest words I've heard the BJP using in this campaign against the Election Commission, against an officer of the Election Commission. How do you say this authority has collapsed?
You see, according to me, people in constitutional offices can't afford to be timid. Even if they are good men, even if they are impartial men, they must have the will to exercise that authority. So if you have a delinquent or an erring returning officer, you should be able to act. Now, what better evidence do you want? Facts speak for themselves. Narendra Modi will come to Banaras city tomorrow. He will address a rally in the rural areas. When he enters the city, he has no permission to perform puja in the Ganga. He has no permission to address a rally in the city. He has no permission to even meet 150 people. So he will visit the party office and then fly back. Is this how campaigns are to be conducted? We have therefore decided that I will lead a protest in the morning at the Lanka gate outside the Banaras Hindu University. My party will protest outside the Election Commission headquarters in order to demonstrate that there is a failure by the Election Commission to exercise its authority. They keep structuring us. I think time has come for the country now to structure such a timid Election Commission.
Let me ask you though, sir, you say that that the Election Commission is without is without authority right now, and it's being timid. Would you say that a confrontation that was initially between the returning officer of Varanasi and the BJP and therefore seemed localized has now escalated into a full-blown confrontation between the BJP and the Chief Election Commissioner and the entire Election Commission as a body?
Well, it's not a confrontation with the Election Commission. We are trying to shake the Election Commission into action. The Election Commission is doing nothing in the matter. If a slight speech is made where an improper word is used, which are actually the sideshows of the election, this Election Commission jumps in with great authority. Booths are being captured and they are a silent spectator. Meetings are not being allowed. Candidates are not being allowed to campaign, and they decide to look the other way. And I think, therefore, what kind of men must man the Election Commission, this country must also have a debate on this.
You seem to be alluding in those comments to the notice that was sent to Amit Shah, or the trouble that the BJP found itself in after Mr. Modi's selfie. Are you saying the Election Commission only acts against one party, the BJP?
No, I am not for a moment saying that. Notices have been sent to other parties also. If we err in anything that we do, the Election Commission is entitled to pull us up. My point is that these are really the side shows of an election, that somebody used an improper word. The real show is, are people being allowed to campaign, and is there booth capturing, or is there free and fair polling? Now, on these two tests, I only wish the Election Commission spend a little more time and start concentrating.
But what is the plan of action now tomorrow, Mr. Jaitley? Will Mr. Modi now be driving straight to the party headquarters?
Well, I don't have a permission. The rally is a few hours away and I still don't have a permission. When will I advertise this rally? When will I make announcements in the city that people must come to attend this rally? An Election Commission has to keep its eyes and ears wide open. We've spoken to the Election Commission. Our Delhi representatives have spoken to them. I have personally spoken to the election observer here. Everybody is shocked, but nobody seems to be acting.
Okay, but what do you believe has motivated what you call the inaction of the Election Commission?
Well, I have no material to say that I can accuse them of political bias. No, I am certainly saying that there is evidence of inaction.
Speak candidly about what you think is the reason for that inaction.
Well, the unwillingness to exercise authority.
All right, we've had the Aam Aadmi Party also responding to your plans to sit on a dharna, Mr. Jaitley. You have Aam Aadmi Party members, of course, Arvind Kejriwal is standing against Narendra Modi in Varanasi, saying Mr. Jaitley is now copying the Aam Aadmi Party, that it was the Aam Aadmi Party that first patented, in a sense, the political satyagraha. How do you respond to that?
Well, we learned satyagraha from Gandhiji, from Martin Luther King, from various people. Arvind Kejriwal didn't invent a dharna. He invented the concept of a chief minister knowing not to govern and sitting on a dharna. That is something which is his contribution. Don't govern, sit on dharna when you get an opportunity to govern. But to fight against injustice by way of a peaceful protest is what history has taught us, what Gandhiji has taught us.
Okay. I take you back now, Mr. Jaitley, to your very strong words at the beginning of this interview that have stuck with me. You're saying the Election Commission has lost its authority vis-a-vis a delinquent polling officer. Why has it lost its authority? Is it because it doesn't have enough powers? Why do you think the EC is behaving the way it is, according to you?
You see, I can't dissect the human mind. All I can say is facts speak for themselves. It's a legitimate activity for Narendra Modi to address a rally in the Banaras city. It's a legitimate activity to meet some eminent citizens here. It's a legitimate activity to perform puja. Arvind Kejriwal also performed puja in the Ganga. Now, for all three, if ifs and buts are going to be created and a rally is not going to be permitted, which effectively means Narendra Modi is not allowed to campaign in the Banaras city. Can there be a free and fair election in Banaras under this returning officer if all three programs styled for the Banaras city are being denied to Narendra Modi? It should have shaken the conscience of everybody, including the Election Commission. Regrettably, it hasn't.
Let me ask you, what's going to be closely watched is, of course, whether Rahul Gandhi's reported roadshow on Saturday gets permission. You've also pointed to the fact that Arvind Kejriwal was allowed to do a Ganga Snan and Mr. Modi is not being allowed to do the same. If Mr. Gandhi comes with his roadshow, the relevant question becomes, we believe that your party was also ready to actually do the rally on the road.
Well, I don't know. Then the only option I have is we will protest by way of a dharna and court arrest maybe, and also protest outside the office of the Election Commission in Delhi. As far as Mr. Modi is concerned, as a law-abiding citizen, he is also a chief minister and a candidate. He will get down on his helipad after his rural rally and then drive to the party office. Now, if people meet him on his way to the party office, so be it.
Okay, let me ask you one last question. Are you also, apart from this dharna, contemplating legal action?
Well, I think the voting is too close for us to go to court and take this involved. After all, these are issues of a political significance. They'd rather be decided on basis of a political appeal to the electorate. Every action that I have planned, I can confess to you very honestly, is also intended to send a message in the alternative to the voters itself.
All right, Arun Jaitley, thanks for talking to us.